Welcome to What's New in Reporting for Finance, Sales and Purchasing, Fixed Assets, Sustainability, and maybe more. Just like any good movie, if you wait and stay for the end credits, you might be in for a little bonus surprise. So let's dive into the first topic, which is Excel reports for finance. In finance, we have made the Excel reports that were in preview generally available. It's not only that we made sure they worked, but we also applied a lot of new design and new things to the layouts. So here on the screen, you can see the 7 different Excel reports that are available for finance. Everything from trial balance to consolidated trial balance, if you use consolidation companies, but also collectibles, receivables, and payables. So let me just show you one. They look kind of the same. That's the idea, that the design should look and feel the same. So let's dive into aged accounts receivables with the new Excel layouts. There are different ways to get to the new Excel layouts in Business Central. I'll show you a few. The first is from the Business Manager Role Center. Now I'm in the Kronos demo company, so there's a little trick here. If you minimize the Get Started banner here, you find some hidden menus, and here you find Excel reports. If I expand this, you can see the different, or some of the different reports available here. I'll get back to you what this legacy part here means. But we wanted to go into aged accounts receivables. Don't mind the preview, it's just my version. And let's run the report. As with all the new reports, you get teaching tips, both if it's enabled like here. If you choose the title here, you'll get the teaching tip. If you open the help pane, you get the teaching tip. There's also a link for the report in documentation. Actually, let's just try to do that. That's a full circle. You can also read more about the report and learn about usage scenarios and so on. So let's get rid of this documentation page and be back in Business Central. And let me run the report. Since this is an Excel report, you just get the download. You don't get a print option here. So let's download and run the report. So it's downloaded. Let me open it in Excel. And here in Excel, we have some security settings. Because this report uses Power Query, we need to enable it, at least in my Entra organization, and I need to enable the content. So these are security settings as part of Excel. Not something I can do much about, but this will load the data into the report. And with all the new Excel reports, they follow a pattern that I'll just demo with this, and I won't mention it in the other demos. Each of the reports come with a printable version. So the first worksheet here is aged accounts receivable print. This means if I actually print this, let's try that. You notice that the report fits a page, and that means you can also print the report in a nice layout. Let's go back to the report. And here, instead of printing, we actually want to analyze something, because these Excel reports are the main reason we use Excel is to have interactivity with pivot tables and slicers and so on. So this particular report has 3 different analytical reports: local currency, by period, foreign currency, and due by currencies. Let's dive into the first one. So the by period is, you can see here, if I expand some of these elements in a date hierarchy, I can dive into that. I can also filter with global dimensions 1 and 2, so department code or customer group. I can simply use these slicers to filter into whatever I like. And with Excel, I can also dive into or sort or filter with each of the columns here. So this is my accounts receivable by period. You also notice that we don't have the report name because we wanted all of this screen to be as much available for analytics as possible. Same type of report, but now by period in foreign currency. So the same type of navigation. Now you get the currency codes. In this demo data, I just have US dollars, but of course, if you use foreign currency, you would have the different currency codes here. And the final report in 8 accounts receivables is then you're due by different currencies. So you can see that here with the currency code of US dollar. Then if you have multiple of these, this will expand with different currencies. All the reports that are provided by Microsoft have this about the report worksheet. Now I have hidden the environment name here. The company is just our Kronos. And you can see which user ran the report. That's me. When I ran the report, what the report was about. And here also, just like in the help pane from the request page, you can also go back from Excel into the documentation for this particular report and then read more about it. So that's what we have for finance. And this is just one of the finance reports that is now generally available in version 2025, release wave 1. Within the areas of sales and purchasing, we also made generally available 2 new Excel reports, or maybe 4 if you also account for or if you think of the aged accounts, receivables or payables reports as being in this area. They are of course finance, but they are heavily related to sales and purchasing. So there are 2 new reports here: customer top 10 and vendor top 10. And let's just dive in to the vendor report and see how that looks in Business Central. So to navigate to the vendor top 10 report, you have options. You could use the Excel reports menu here, but we could also just tell me, say, vendor top 10 and see if we can find the new report. So the vendor top 10 here is the Excel report. The vendor top 10 list up here is the legacy report that will be deprecated. So we'll want to choose the new one. And I will just download the report and open it in Excel. So the first worksheet is the print worksheet. Here you get the printable version of the top vendor lists. Of course, the number of vendors chosen here is the filter you set on the request page. And then the second worksheet is the analysis worksheet, where you now have the slicers for filtering on or picking different vendors. You can, of course, again, similarly sort or filter on vendor number or vendor name and get your vendor top 10 report. This is a version of an Excel layout that even have a visual, which means if I pick a few of these, the pivot table will change to that. And we have the About report as well. So that's the vendor top 10 report in Excel. But wait, there's more. In sales and purchasing, we also gave you a little bonus. It will come in version 26.1. 2 new queries that allow you to slice and dice your sales and purchasing orders in a more flexible manner than what is possible in earlier versions. So let's dive into, instead of purchasing, let's dive into sales and let's analyze some sales orders. So in Tell Me, I just search for sales order per, and here I get the sales order performance analysis result. Let's choose that and see what is possible or what this is. So the teaching tip tells me this is a query that joins data from sales header to sales line. What this means is that I can start grouping my sales order lines by things that are on the header. So the first type of analysis here is I can look at sell to customer name. I have 3 customers, and now I can see all the lines that are related to this. Of course, if I remove some of these data items, I will not see as much there. So that's one way of looking with the sales order performance. I can look across my customers and see what I sold to them. your imagination sets the boundaries of the types of reports when you combine header and lines into a pivot experience like this one. So go check it out when the 26.1 release gets out, and let's see if you can not have one analysis, but maybe 10 different analysis tabs on this query. In fixed assets, we made 3 of the Excel reports, or the 3 preview reports in Excel, generally available: fixed assets analysis, fixed asset details, and fixed asset projected value. I won't go and demo these because they will look the same as what you have seen before, but of course now in the context of fixed assets. As a bonus that you already have in your environment today, if you're on a version 25.3 or later, is similarly to the sales order and purchase order analysis, we also added a fixed asset ad hoc analysis query that joins the fixed asset ledger entries to other things such as fixed asset class, subclass, and things on the fixed asset card, such as depreciation book. So that allows you for a really flexible analysis on your fixed assets transactions. Sustainability, we added in the last release wave 3 Excel reports, so they are already generally available. But in this release wave, we also updated the layouts for these reports to look and feel the same as what you have in sales, finance, everything you have seen until now. So again, I won't demo this, but you should go, if you use sustainability, go and check out the new layouts for the sustainability reports and start using the new layouts. With all the modernization that has been done in the area of Excel reports and also the layouts that you have seen, we are also saying goodbye to some legacy Excel reports in the product. And these are the, I'll show you how they look. They will be present in Business Central for a few release waves, and then they will be removed from the product. So I'll just show you where to find them. So in case these are the ones you use, you should start using the more modern Excel reports instead. So in Business Central, the legacy Excel reports are the ones you find under the Excel reports menu, and then they now have a group called Legacy where they are located. So I won't go more into details about that, but they have been moved to this group. And in a later release wave, this group will be removed, and you should only be able to find these in the Role Explorer, and then they will be removed. And we're also saying goodbye to some old friends within finance, fixed assets, sales, purchasing. Actually, the report areas where you have seen the new modern, generally available Excel reports, their counterparts from the past have now been obsoleted and will be removed in a later version of Business Central. For manufacturing, there's a full video on manufacturing analytics, and the modernization of reporting in that area is even greater than what you have seen in this video. So if you use manufacturing, make sure you watch the manufacturing analytics video.